Yeah, like Great Expectations. My house has its own personal moat.
Doesn't have to be a big one. It's only like a couple feet wide, but still, it's a moat. You dug it yourself.
Yeah, generally I just put a kiddie pool outside of the front door.
Enough said. Little inflatable gator. I mean, we're going to get into the action, guys. It has begun. The countdown has begun to get into the last map of this series, and it will be Boston Uprising on the defense as the home team. And on the away team, Florida Mayhem. It's looking like Tvik, at least to start, is looking at the Pharah with fairly common pick here for the first point on Eichenwald.
Yeah, somewhat uncommon is that the defense is going to run a Pharah of their own in Dreamcasper, so we're going to be treated to a little bit of Top Gun action. Now, sometimes they just duel at each other and no one's hitting any rockets, and then it becomes up to the Tracers on the ground to try to clean up and get some damage done.
You got to follow up on the damage, and this will be down to the comms as well. You have to call out those hot targets, who you need to be focusing on. And they're doing a very fine job right now of not really giving Tvik too many targets to work with. I mean, Tvik right now, you can see he's just kind of chucking rockets in there, hoping that something connects, because the only people he can really get on are the D.Va, and D.Va, of course, can just cancel those out.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of ignoring the Pharah v Pharah. Because it can be so volatile and they're so far away, he's just trying to help out the ground war. He's trying to chunk them down, and right away, that D.Va already going to get demeched, I believe, by Tvik right there. So far, though, they've lost one of their healers on the ground on this offense. They might just try to stall out and wait for the Zen to get back into the fight.
Now, Gamsu has just been revived as well, not rezzed, but he has come back to life, and so he'll be making his way back over here. He's got the jump pack, though, so that doesn't take too long for Winston. And so far, they're doing a very good job of stalling things out here, Boston. They've wasted a minute so far for Florida.
Yeah, if you're the defense, you don't care. You're not going to go fight this because they're not doing anything. They're not making any progress. A big chunky rocket out of the Mercy.
Oh, no way, Tvik! 3 rockets in a row, and one of them equals a death. That was big.
Tvik does his best right there. They do actually resurrect the deaths that were on the ground, and it is just Casper right now trying to bring this back for his team. Tvik turns his attention to the ground yet again. Still trying to stall this one out, but based on the back of Tvik's air-v-air, the Sidewinder missiles up there, Florida Mayhem will grab the first point, but they want to stall this out a little more, maybe not.
Oh, and Mercy was able to get there fairly quick as well, so Gamsu lived. He didn't just get picked off immediately. This is going to get a little dicey, though. Kellex will get caught eventually, and that, I mean, it has to take over. But they really want to try and maximize as much time out of this as possible, Boston. Down to 2 minutes, about 2 minutes 15 before it was finally able to take over there for Florida Mayhem. But you got to give it to Tvik. He was tired of the games.
Yeah,
he's tired of the defensive games. If you guys aren't going to bring the fight to me, well, I'm going to go to you, and you aren't going to like it. Showing us how versatile he is.
Watch Manatee here because the self-destruct can be so good against a Pharah and Mercy, especially on this area where they're going to be caught out in the open. There's not a whole lot of geography they can use to get out of there. Again, that is a brave resurrection from Kellex. Will they make him pay for it?
That's unbelievable. The question is whether Striker's going to cash in on it as well. I mean, he's still here. They are on the payload. By the way, Florida, you need to push that. In Boston, they're playing so aggressively right now, taking advantage of this choke point and really trying to pour the pressure on, and sure enough, Striker, he gets a kill on Zebasai. I think they're going to continue to stall out here.
Is ideally where you want to hold on defense, actually. It's called a gate hold, and there's really no good way to break it. You got to use ultimates to break it, which is a win for the defense if you have to start using support ultimates to get through here.
Oh!
And look at that! He did not bring in an umbrella, and Justice rains from above.
Oh, the style points. You gotta love it. And Manatee, well, Manatee, he does have the self-destruct, and that's exactly what he's gonna use here to try and just finally turn the tide towards Florida. And it will happen. I mean, Striker is still around. He's trying to be a nuisance. He's buying a little bit more time here. They just can't finally Tvik is able to connect with the rocket.
Again, already a win right there because that 0 next to Zebasai's name means he used Valkyrie just to get out of the gate. That's exactly what you want to force out of the defense. Boston's done a great job this entire match of forcing ultimates and making their opponent play into that.
I'm liking this as well. The fact that Dreamcasper and Kellex are able to get through. You can see Florida, we're trying to bottle up Boston by a little bit more time, not let them to get out through the choke point doorways there. But instead, thanks to Dream, you actually have the space to work with here. Gamsu just doing his thing. I mean, he is so good at getting in and just causing chaos.
Yeah, Gamsu has been crushing it today. He's cleaning up all the kills. Him and Striker working so well together in that dive, that unit of Tracer and Winston. Not only is it lore that they're very good friends, but in the game they work well together.
Yeah, it was Doomfist who wasn't too happy about that friendship. Ended up costing him a few years, I think.
I don't think I've ever met a happy Doomfist.
Doomfist, well, they're out there somewhere. Actually, there was on Reddit, there was a sick thread. Style points for that Doom over there. Okay, whatever. You guys can go and check it out if you want during the break. But now, it is going to be Striker doing his thing, and sure enough, it is exactly that. Finds a kill immediately.
the most appropriate name right now in all the Overwatch League, Striker, as he continues to go forth and conquer this team. He's all the way in back, no escape from Striker's pulse pistols. My goodness. Florida's going to try to go to the well and find something to crack through. Tavik was on a Widow for a moment to try to deal with it because Casper simply got the better angles on the Pharah. Instead, he's on the McCree, but if they're going to door hold, I don't know where McCree's going to set up a good angle to try to get to this Pharah Mercy.
Exactly right, especially because he's going to be somewhat limited with the barriers. Doesn't really have an Orisa or a Reinhardt to stand behind and just plink away with. So Tavik, he's going to have to work some of his magic here, and we'll see if he can pull it off. Gamsu is dangerously close, and he actually goes for the Primal Rage to stay alive. Keep the pressure going. Tavik will connect with Kelix, but Dreamcasper's right there to get that frag right back.
They sent in Swoosh early to create the chaos factor so that Tavik could try to pick people up on the ground as he made space up top with the Primal Rage. Logix finally comes to life. One of the first times we've seen him in the kill feed on Eichenwald, taking out Casper and DMEC and Kalios. That's a full reset. But knowing Boston, if they can get the proper spawns, they're going to fight this yet again. They're not giving up door for free.
You can already see him peek it out. Zupe was hoping to get the volley in there. There we get a cheeky frag, but instead we're going to get the replay here from Logix, who definitely went to work, keeping so much damage. Exactly the pulse bomb. Oh, the collateral. That's brutal, and already we've got the fight going here. Dream Casper with the barrage manages to pick up 2 kills, but Zebasai is there with the res to keep the fight going. And so now it's on Logix, kind of dodging around. It will not fall to the self-destruct. Clean play from him, good use of mechanics.
Well, they took down both tanks very early in that fight, so there's going to be no one to really block any of this damage. And here Zebo comes in, does bring up Tavik. It's a post-Valkyrie resurrection. Still trying to fight this out, but it might be time for a reset. But I think that time actually may have passed. Only 16 seconds. Gotta stay alive, gotta keep someone up so you can touch the cart. That's crucial, because Logix is gonna be the guy who has to get to the cart and keep it alive.
Finally, that was starting to get a little ridiculous there. But there, they have to get some kind of presence. Time is ticking down, 2 seconds left. Who's going to commit? It looks like it will be Swoosh fighting there with the Tesla cannon, trying to keep things alive. And there it is, the Transcendence used in Vuln. Zenyatta just buying as much time as possible. They need to win this fight decisively, Florida, but Boston doing a fairly decent job of keeping their hopes going.
Well, they have to stay on the cart, but now they're not going to have a resurrection. Zebo died early in that last fight and switched to Lucio to get back to the point. He gets back to the point, but all for naught as Kelix brings Dream Casper back to life. No resurrections on the side of the Mayhem, and it looks like that is a bridge too far.
Sure enough, Dream Casper, just a barrage of missiles at the end. And I mean, all right, Hex, what do Florida need to do here now to try and make this happen for them? Because it doesn't feel like they were able to push that payload too far.
There are strategies on Eichenwald that involve some of the finest cheddar cheese in the world.
It turns out I'm French. We're fans of cheese. Hit me. What we got?
Well, I'm from Wisconsin. We make a pretty mean sharp cheddar. Torb can happen on first point offense. You can put a Torb and a Orisa in a corner and try to deal with it that way. I don't think the Pharah v Pharah went well enough for them that they want to run a Pharah on the defense. I think maybe Logix runs a Soldier 76 to try to put some pressure on what I'm assuming will be an offensive Pharah and Mercy. And then McCree can be run by Tavik. You could switch those up either way, but I think you can run a double hit scan into this. The McCree sits with the supports and makes sure Striker is at least has to think twice about getting back to the back line there, maybe a flashbang headshot, and then enough pressure to force them off of it. Now that'll work once or twice, and then Casper's gonna switch to Genji, and you have to hope you can deal with that.
You're gonna have to deal with multiple of the targets. I mean, he's only got 1 flashbang. It takes a little bit of time to get them back. And so,
which is why you need someone else to deal with the other target. Because McCree can be overwhelmed. One of the best duelers in the game. If you have played any of the deathmatch in Overwatch, you know it's 7 McCrees, and then you're the dumb guy who picks Tracer.
No. You're the annoying guy who picks Moira. You're the really, really annoying guy who picks Moira.
I'm the person in the chateau in the basement playing Symmetra. So.
Oh, man.
Come on down to the turret part.
You're an abomination. I don't know what to say. So, now we're gonna get to a bit of a look at the setup, and it doesn't look like, well, I mean, we will have the McCree in play, so they will have some answers here for the Pharah,
but this is the dive catcher. That's what it's supposed to be. This is why you have the Junkrat, why you have the McCree, and why you have the Roadhog. This has worked on several other maps. This has worked for New York against Boston. However, Boston not running a traditional dive. They're gonna try to boost in. Oddly enough, they're not running a Zenyatta, but they're gonna try to just get angles. This is cool, but Casper goes over the top first and is met by Logix.
He's gonna get he does get over eventually. That was awkward. Oh, man. I love it, though. I love seeing innovative play. That's what it's all about.
You know when your parents asked if your friends jumped off a bridge, so would you? I believe the answer is yes, and sometimes it makes sense.
Listen, playing in high places, sometimes it gets painful.
Okay, so they tried something cool. Now they're back to pure dive. Nako has gone over to the Zenyatta, and Casper's on the Genji. So this should be, in theory, Florida should be able to catch this correctly, but Boston's dive is really well synced.
It's what we saw in Anubis, right? Second map, they really looked clean. They were good on the coordination, and already Nako just pouring it in. He picks up 1 kill already. That's going to help. And Dreamcasper's there to follow it up, and this is not looking good right now for Florida. They need to hang in here, and it's just not happening. Nako's not letting them. Nako doing so much damage. Logic, swoosh, everybody falls to him and his orbs.
And it's the order in which that happens, too. You take out the Junkrat first from a distance, and then your Tracer feels comfortable because she doesn't have to worry about the nade spam. I mean, it's not spam, it's area denial, whatever you want to call it. Then that goes in, takes down the Roadhog, so no one else has to worry about hooks, and then there goes McCree.
All right, Dreamcasper.
Up top, he's gonna try to cause some trouble. It's why Genji can be so good. He can climb walls. Wish I had that ability. Unfortunately, I can barely climb a ladder, but that is going to push them back. But no worries, they were just trying to get aggressive, and if they won that fight, they were gonna get ultra aggressive, send their flankers back to the gates, which they still will do, but that door isn't even open yet.
And Striker doing what Striker does best, which is exactly that. Harass the back lines, keep a little bit of a, make sure that they can't get too comfortable up there on the high ground, just letting them know, I know where you are. You're not gonna get a good night's sweet sleep here tonight.
Boston banking ultimates here, and they'd be a good investment to look forward to win this next fight. Valkyrie up, Transcend up, both DPS also about to be up as well.
All right, well, there we go. Dreamcasper ready to dive in. He's getting zapped a little bit, but that doesn't matter when he's throwing shurikens and they hit the face of Logic. Everything is groovy for him, and he's even got the Dragon Blade in his back pocket as well, just looking for those soft targets to start chopping to bits, and he has spotted one. Logic's gonna be worried just a little bit, and it looks like he doesn't even really want to use it. They've won this fight so convincingly, and they've done a very fine job of building up 3 other ults here to use in the next engagement, Boston.
Yeah, they've been fiscally conservative for sure. They both traded Valkyries that last fight, but it was Boston who came out on top. This is gonna be a pulse bomb towards the end, and you just want the one with the stick, but if they happen to back up into someone else, you'll take the 2 right there, into the carts. Takes down his Mercy. That is an apology letter waiting to happen.
Super clean. Just art. And all now, Dreamcasper, you can see he's looking for the targets. He's hunting. And while Kalios doesn't even need the help, he's got the self-destruct, and he's already taken out Zebasai. And so this fight is looking just a little bit grim here for Florida. They're running out of space to work with as well. And Dream eventually will figure out a way to get out of there. Tight spot when you've got an angry monkey just beating your face in.
But it's really smart. The deflect doesn't put that damage back, but it does prevent you from taking that damage. So he stays alive. He knows that they've traded off their support players, so it's just going to be a brawl. However, the source of healing that Boston has is that payload. The payload will heal the team pushing it, so you do have a small advantage when healing when all other options are gone.
So now, quick move out here from Florida. Just doing the best that they can to try and stall things out, and finally we're going to see the Dragon Blade take effect, and there it is, the perfect situation for Dreamcasper. All of them stacked up, that's exactly what he wants, and just like that, the Florida Mayhem, they get swept. The payload is moving forward, and there are no kills for Manage, and the self-destruct did go off, but it wasn't good enough, and he is the last solution here. He is the last option for Florida, and it wasn't good enough. Boston, they will close it with a resounding victory, 4-0 over the Florida Mayhem.
Dreamcasper put the hopes of Florida to bed there. He is their closer. Striker keeps it up during it, but I talked about earlier in the Assault maps, and Genji's been a must-pick on Assault, in my opinion, for a long time.